9 people of 10 love chocolate, the 10th lie, said American artist John Tullius. But what is the true story of chocolate? Where is it from the food called the food of the gods? Chocolate produces endorphin, which in turn generates euphoria and lifts up the morale, so it isn't a myth that chocolate helps to feel well. The cocoa plant is called theobroma. It comes from the Greek and means food of gods. Some recent studies revealed that God's food helps to fight stress and even helps to protect the skin by the healthful effects of the sunbeam. The cocoa plant born in the tropical forest of the center of America. The Maya and the Aztecs were the first to cultivate this fruit and to transform it in dreams. The import of cocoa in the old continent is due to Hernán Cortés. He affirmed that chocolate is a driving drink that can give strength and resistance. A cup of that precious drink allowed people to walk for an entire day without food. Only in 1594 chocolate arrived in Italy, thanks to the navigator Francesco Caroletti. In the first half of 600, the cocoa spread in all principal European states, in France in 1615, in Germany in 1641, and in England in 1645. In 1770, in France, the first factory of chocolate rised up, the chocolate Pollettia. But Italy had a fundamental role in the process of working of the cocoa, thanks to the inventor Doré from Turin in 1778, that invented a machine that could melt cocoa paste and vanilla and mix with sugar. Doré could be defined the inventor of the chocolate bars. In 1979, Rudolf Unit, in his laboratory of Bern, now staying in ruin, and with second-hand machineries, succeeded with an easy method to create a solid chocolate that was never seen before, a chocolate that melted in the mouth with a unique taste. The half of modern production of chocolate seeds happened in 3 states: Brazil, Ivory Coast, Ghana. But how is it possible that God's food is made by slaves? We don't know this, no.
Ghana and the Ivory Coast had been subjects of slavery for centuries.
The Ghana coast has been an area of secular contacts between African and European people. The country is mostly occupied by a plateau interrupted in the central part by a large depression where Volta River flows. Today it's been transformed in an extensive artificial lake after the construction of the Akosombo Dam. The climate is hot, with heavy rainfalls, and all the country is covered by a pluvial forest and arboreal savanna which, in the north only, leave place to the steppe savanna. Ghana became an English colony between the centuries 18th and 19th, and it was located in the strong Ashanti kingdom because of the slaves traffic. Despite the resistance of the Mselvis Ashanti after the independence got in 1957, country's history was characterized by frequent coup d'etat. From 1992, when the construction has been approved, a presidential regime entered into force. The greatest richness of the country is the cocoa, but the economy is very weak. Other exported products are gold, timber and aluminium.
Slavery is the ideology underpinning the social and economic system in which a person, the slave, belongs totally to another, the master. The slave model has been developed in different forms since the birth of patriarchy until our days. The war has historically been the easiest way through which procure slaves to be exploited. Functional dissemination of discriminatory ideologies, pseudo-scientific or philosophical, were necessary to justify the reduction in slavery of some human beings, which were considered lower than the masters, because belonging to classes, races, or civilizations considered inferior. Currently, we are assisting to new forms of exploitation that many scholars and intellectuals call the new slavery or wage slavery.
Slavery reached its apex during the colonialism.
Child exploitation is a global problem which involves millions of children under 14 years old. They're forced to leave their childhood to help themselves and their families. Among the principal causes, there's the poverty. In fact, a lot of stories of child exploitation start from the necessity of feed a family. Also, it shouldn't be forgotten that children suffer more for blackmails and improprieties because they don't have a trade union conscience, and then they stand for the idle labor force for most of the employers. There are various types of child exploitation. 1. Domestic exploitation, or rather children treated as servants. 2. Sexual exploitation, which is used to affirm an absolute power on people who can't defend themselves. 3. The work in the industries and plantations. According to the data of International Cocoa Verification Board (EVB), there are more than 3 million of underages who work in the cocoa plantations. It's a hard work that implies the worst forms of exploitation. The cocoa cultivation provides that children climb on the trees with machetes to make the fruit fall. They often use pesticides, carry heavy loads, burn leaves and branches. Ivory Coast is the first world producer of cocoa, and it takes more than 6,000 of people in this. Over 2,000 of children, where 64% under 14 years old, work for 12 hours a day. 89% of children of the country are bound to chocolate processing. What can you see in this picture? What does it mean for you? Taste it well. Don't you think it could taste more better if it would be produced without pesticides? If it wouldn't be produced by the hands of a child of our age? And if its sweet taste would change into the bitter one of slavery? And if instead we will share its sweetness with their children? Be aware, it would be fantastic if you can change something. But to succeed, you need to change yourself first.